Yo, what's up, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time is a bit of a crazy one, bit of a funny one, bit of just an all-around bunch of different things, and I thought you guys would enjoy hearing about it. It takes place back in the days that I lived in LA, which was a very interesting time for me. Like, I didn't even live there that long, but the amount of story times and things that came out of it would make you think I lived there for like 15 years. So when I went out there to live there, I actually didn't have my own apartment right away. I actually bounced around in Airbnbs for a little bit, and I didn't have my official apartment for at least a few months because I was still looking for an apartment out there. But I wanted to live out there like immediately, so I got Airbnbs until I was able to find an apartment. And this story time takes place in the first week I was in LA. Now, I've talked about it before, but the first month I went there, I brought a bunch of my friends from my hometown with me. I brought a bunch of my hometown homies, and I just let them stay at the house I was renting for free because I wanted my friends with me and I wanted to have fun and, kind of bring my homies with me for the first month I was out there. I finally had some money to spend and, I wanted to take the ones that I knew from way back when to LA with me. Now, the first couple days of being there at the Airbnb were pretty fun, but also kind of insane. Some things happened that I think I've talked about on this channel. I'll have to go back in my old videos and look, but there was definitely some story-worthy stuff that happened the first couple days of being there. But it wasn't until the third day where the story I'm telling today takes place. So 3 days into being at this Airbnb, the house is just completely trashed. There is shit everywhere. There's clothes all over the floor in the living room because one of my friends was sleeping out there. There's fast food bags and shit all over the table. And I was like, yo, we've only been here for 3 days. How's it this fucked up? We're going to clean this house today. So that's what I did. I made everyone get up, made them help me clean the house because a lot of the mess wasn't mine. Don't get me wrong, I'm a pretty messy dude sometimes, all right? There's definitely times where my room is not clean, but that's my room. This was the whole house was fucked up. So yeah, we all got up and we cleaned the house. It only took us an hour. It was pretty quick. And after that, we just kind of were sitting on the couch doing nothing, chilling, when one of my homies was like, yo, I want to go buy some weed today. Now, I didn't really know what the weed laws were like in California at the time. I knew it was medically legal if you had a med card. I didn't know if it was fully recreational yet. And I'm pretty sure even if it was fully recreational, you had to be 21. So me and my friends really couldn't buy any weed legally there. So my one friend was like, yeah, I'm not going to a dispensary because I can't get in. I'll just find someone here to sell it to me. So my friend started asking around people in California that he knew, family and shit, and he ended up finding a connection within 20 minutes. And before I knew it, we were in an Uber on the way to this guy's house to buy some weed. Literally just some random guy my friend found through a family friend. And when we got there, this guy was just this 40-year-old, really nice guy, very chill. You could definitely tell he likes smoking. And yeah, he just looked very happy to be there, right? And we were talking to him because I was interested to know how he knew my friend's family. Because like I said, this was one of my hometown friends, and he had an uncle in California that lived in San Diego, and his uncle put him onto this guy that lived in LA that also sold weed. It's not really too relevant to the story. I just thought it was crazy that someone from my hometown had family that knew a connect. I don't know. It was wild to me. Anyway, so we're talking to this guy, like I said, very chill guy, and he ended up selling my friend I don't know, a little over an eighth. My friend did not buy a ton of weed because one, he didn't have a ton of money, and two, none of us really smoked. This was around the time when I wasn't smoking. Most of my friends in the house weren't smoking, and really the only person that was going to be smoking this weed was my friend, the one buying it. So he only bought an eighth, maybe a little more. And after that, we called up another Uber, got in, and Ubered back to the Airbnb. And we spent most of the rest of that day just chilling. It was a very nice day out, so I spent most of it by the pool. I had nothing to do this day. I had my video done. I was chilling. Life was good, man. That's all I have to say. Life was good. I thought that this day was going to be perfect. I thought the night was going to be perfect. I thought nothing could possibly go wrong. Little did I know, shit was about to go very wrong. And I was about to have a very serious problem on my hands. So like I said, I spent most of that day by the pool. It was a very nice day. Most of my friends also spent most of the day by the pool, just chilling. We were bumping music on the JBL, listening to music, hanging out, having a nice outdoor pool day, right? Well, the nighttime rolls around, right? The sun starts to set. It's a little bit too cold to keep swimming, so we all got out the pool. We were all just sitting on the patio furniture, just chilling there on this big deck outside, overlooking the view of LA. It was very, very cool, right? Very nice, surreal moment. And one of my friends, specifically the one that bought the weed, the one that was smoking, goes, yo, does anyone want to smoke with me? I'm about to smoke. Now, I don't know why on this night I had a change of heart, but I got this craving to smoke. It was probably just the fact that like the vibes were good, the view was nice, the sun was setting, I saw palm trees. I just thought, you know what might elevate this a little more? If I smoked a little bit. Now, like I said, around this time, I was not smoking weed. I hadn't smoked weed in months prior to this because I was getting dizzy and I was passing out when I would smoke. And I ended up going to the doctor about it because I was like, dude, I keep passing out. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And he ended up telling me that I had low blood pressure. And when I would smoke weed, my blood pressure would get lowered from the weed. But because I already had low blood pressure, it was making it very low. And I was passing out because of it. And it was essentially dangerous for me to keep smoking weed. So I was like, all right, I'm going to quit. So I quit. I've talked about that on this channel before. I also like had a seizure at one point or something like a seizure. It was really weird. But anyway, yeah, I was not smoking. But I went against my rule. I went against my health. I went against everything I shouldn't have gone against. And I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to smoke tonight. Knowing damn well what could have happened. You know, me possibly passing out. All of my friends, by the way, knew about this as well. They knew about me passing out. They knew about why I wasn't smoking. So when I said that I wanted to smoke on this night, they all kind of looked at me like, yo, are you sure that's a good idea? And I told them, I was like, yo, like, don't worry. I'll be okay. I'm only going to take like 2 hits. I'll be fine. It won't affect me if I just take a couple. And I'll just be careful. I'll drink water. I'll sit down. I won't stand up too much. And I'll be good. So, yeah, I thought I had it under control. I thought I'd be able to smoke and just kind of sit down and chill. And I'd be good. Well, I took 2 hits of this joint. And that shit fucked me up, man. I completely underestimated how strong Cali weed is. I also just underestimated how low my tolerance was for weed at this time. So, yeah, I took 2 hits. Felt that shit immediately, and I immediately felt dizzy. So my first kind of thought was like, all right, let me like eat something with salt in it, because my doctor told me like if your blood pressure ever gets too low and you feel like you're about to pass out, eat some French fries or something, eat some chips, like something with salt in it to raise your blood pressure. So I like walked into the kitchen because I was feeling really dizzy, and I ate some potato chips, right? And it actually helped me. Within like 20 minutes, I felt better. So I thought I was good. I also still had a buzz going. I was still very much, a little stoned. I went back out on the deck with my friends. We were listening to music. I was kind of enjoying my high. I wasn't really dizzy anymore. And I thought that I beat it. I thought that I figured out like the cheat code to smoke weed and not pass out and like not, have problems with it, right? I just had to eat chips or like French fries. Well, about 15, 20 minutes later, I stand up out of the chair I was sitting in on the deck outside. And the way that this house was set up that we were staying in, it had 2 floors. And on the floor we were on was where the pool deck was. And it was a big wooden deck with a pool, a hot tub, and a big like chilling area with like furniture and a little fire pit and a nice view of the hills. And this house was up high, man. And when you looked down off this deck that we were sitting on, there was a very steep hill. And I went to the edge of the deck to admire the view. Because I thought, I'm a little stoned right now. The view's nice. The lights are pretty. Like, let me walk over to the edge of this deck and, like, admire the view of this, like, beautiful city from this Airbnb that I'm staying at right now. So I walked to the very edge of it, and I put my arms up on the glass because it had, like, a glass, like, pane that surrounded the deck to keep you from falling. And it was about as high as, like, my lower chest. So I was standing up right against it with, like, my arms resting over it and my head over, like, looking at the view. And, like, while I'm leaning over it, like, looking at this view, I start feeling a little bit weird. I start feeling a little bit dizzy. And, like, I'm not sure if it's my fear of heights kicking in and I'm just, like, psyching myself out. I'm not sure if it's the fact that I smoked weed and I was getting, dizzy and, like, blood pressure was dropping low. So I'm, like, freaked out, right? I'm like, oh, shit. So I go to take a step back, right? To, like, back away from the height of this deck. Because, if I pass out, I don't want to fall over. And the minute I took a step back and like I was actively walking away, I start to feel the dizziness become overwhelming and I knew I was about to pass out. I could feel it coming. I start getting like overwhelmingly dizzy. I'm lightheaded. I'm losing control of my own body, my own balance. I can't like stand in one place and I'm starting to stumble, right? So usually when this would happen, I would just stumble until I fall over and I just like lay flat on my back and kind of, regain the ability to like not be dizzy, right? Or I just pass out. Well, this situation was a lot different because I was literally like just a couple steps away from a drop that could kill me. Now I'm stumbling, right? I'm trying to regain my control. I'm fighting it because I'm trying to get away from the glass and from the drop of this deck, of this balcony. And I'm trying to like regain control. And my friend sees this. He's like, yo, just sit down. Just sit down, bro. Sit down. And I'm trying to, but I'm like stumbling. And next thing I know, dude, I was out. Everything is completely, gone from that point forward from my memory because I completely passed out. But the story doesn't end there. I'm going to switch over to my friend's perspective because he filled in the blanks for me on this. So after I lost consciousness, my body was leaning to the left, right? So I completely just tumbled to the left. And to the left of me was also where the glass was, the glass like window / pane thing that, would keep you from falling if you were on a balcony. Well, they're not meant to be body slammed. So when my body fell to the left and I completely body slammed it, it fucking shattered, dude. It shattered and I went over the edge of our deck. Now, like I said, man, this was up on a hill in the Hollywood Hills, probably like an 800-foot hill, dude. And my body was unconscious, fell off the deck, and started rolling down this hill. Now, like I said, I was unconscious for this. I'm so happy I was, because I think I actually would have died from a fucking heart attack if I witnessed this. If I was conscious through all this, I think the sheer, terrifying, fear of falling would kill me and give me a heart attack. So yeah, anyway, my body is unconsciously rolling down this hill for about a few seconds, and thank fuck, luck was on my side. I end up rolling into a bush. I tumbled into a big shrub that was on the mountain, and my body completely went into it and got wrapped up in the bush and on the stump, I guess. My body wrapped around it, and I was just stuck there. Now, a few moments later, I wake up pretty quickly. It wasn't how I usually would wake up when I passed out, kind of slowly and, out of it. This was a lot different because I remember opening my eyes and looking around. And the minute I realized I was in a bush on the side of a mountain, on this big hill, this steep hill, and in pain and wrapped around a bush stump, I snapped out of it. And I was like, what the fuck? Where am I? What's going on? And I remember moving the bush with my hands, spreading it apart so I could see out of it. And I saw my friends climbing down to get to me. And I saw my Airbnb. And I saw the broken glass pane from where I fell through it. And it all just hit me at once. I was like, holy shit, I passed out. I fell through that. And this bush just saved my life. Now, my first feeling was oh, I'm so grateful I'm alive. But then I started to feel the pain of what happened to me. And immediately my shoulder started to kick in. My shoulder was hurting. My leg was really hurting. And it felt kind of wet in my sock. So I was like, what the fuck happened? I thought I fell in a puddle or something. I lifted up my pants and my ankle was bleeding. And my leg hurt like a motherfucker. And I had glass in my ankle, dude. Yeah, when I fell, the glass shards went into my ankle. And I remember kind of freaking out because I do not do well with puncture wounds, let alone having glass still in my skin. And I kind of freaked out and picked it out of my skin, which I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to do. Don't quote me on that. I've just been told from people in my life that if you have something in your skin shrapnel or a real deep puncture wound or something, it's good to have the hospital remove it. Because if you try and rip it out yourself, you could start bleeding everywhere and it could be worse. I don't know. Maybe Google that so you know in the future. But anyway, I'm freaking out. I ripped it out of my skin. Luckily, it wasn't incredibly deep. After I got the glass out, the shards, I was bleeding, but it wasn't as deep as I thought it was, which was good. And next thing I know, my friends got to me. My friends climbed down to the bush and they helped me get out of the bush. And I had thorns all over my skin and in my back and in my shirt and in my neck and my hair. It sucked, man. And I limped my ass up the hill, which was very hard to do, by the way. I was dizzy. I was high. I had a bunch of cuts in my leg from the glass. My shoulder hurt. And I was limping up a fucking mountain, essentially. A big ass, 800-foot, 1,000-foot hill that was not meant to be hiked on. And it's steep. And I'm injured. And my friends were trying to help me and make sure I don't pass out again. But I did it, man. I locked in. I was able to get up the hill without passing out. I thought I was going to pass out, but I didn't. Got up there. They got me to the house. And immediately they were like, yo, you gotta go to the hospital, bro. Like, you don't look good. Like, you passed out. You fell off a fucking balcony, essentially. Like, you need to go to the hospital. And I listened to them. I wasn't gonna not go, bro. Like, I was hurt. I knew I had to go. I ended up taking an Uber to the hospital, which was really stupid. Like, I should have just called a fucking ambulance. I don't know why I called an Uber, but to me, that just was faster, so I did that. So yeah, I Ubered to the hospital with one of my friends, and they got me in pretty quick. Like, usually the emergency room takes a long time. I think the lady saw my leg and just realized, like, oh shit, he's bleeding right now. Like, we should probably get him in. So they got me into a room pretty quick, and the doctor came in and, like, evaluated me, asked me what happened. I told him what happened. I was like, yeah, I smoked weed. It made me dizzy. It usually does make me dizzy because I have low blood pressure. And then he's like, well, why would you smoke it then? If you knew it was going to make you dizzy and pass out, why'd you smoke it? I go, I don't know. He goes, all right, well, let me check you out. So he ended up doing a bunch of lab work on me, like blood tests. I also got a scan of my shoulder and my leg, and everything was surprisingly not that bad. My shoulder wasn't broken or fractured, even though it felt like I definitely fucked it up. My leg was okay, which was good. They also x-rayed my chest, because according to my friend, when I passed out and, like, landed on the hill, my chest took the fall, so they, like, x-rayed that, made sure my lungs weren't collapsed, made sure my bones were good. Everything was surprisingly, like, pretty normal. Even the cuts on my ankle from the glass, even though they looked really bad, they didn't need stitches, which was really good. The only thing they had to do for that is they gave me a tetanus shot, because I hadn't had one in a while, and, you know, puncture wounds from unclean stuff can give you tetanus, so they gave me a tetanus shot. Forgot to mention, by the way, they checked my blood pressure while I was there, and it was very low. Like, lower than it usually was, like, baseline. So the smoking of the weed definitely made it lower. So anyway, after I got through, like, all those tests and all that stuff was done, and I was pretty much, like, shown to be okay, the doctor came in and was like, listen, like, you can go home, get some rest. If anything concerning shows up, like any kind of symptoms, you know, come back. But my instructions are go home, get some rest, and don't smoke weed. Like, clearly it bothers you, and you could have had a much worse situation today. Like, you got incredibly lucky. He didn't even believe us at first. When I told him that I fell down the hill that we fell down, he knew where it was. And he was like, no way. Like, he really didn't believe me. Anyway, yeah, they discharged me from the hospital. I rode home in another Uber, and I spent most of that day just chilling on the couch, laying down, relaxing. And within the next, like, 3 or 4 days, I felt a lot better. My shoulder was, like, completely good. Like, a week or so later, my leg was mostly healed up, and shit was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I think I had a concussion from this, and I've had a lot of concussions in my life. Definitely think I had a concussion, because I remember, like, the week following this whole thing, I was sensitive to light, and I was, like, extra dizzy, and I was getting headaches, which is all concussion symptoms. So I was like, maybe I have a concussion. I probably should have went back, but I didn't. But, you know, a couple years later, I got my brain scanned for something else, and it was normal, so I think I'm okay. Probably just a concussion or something that went away. But, moral of this story, guys, big moral here. If you're prone to dizziness and passing out, don't do things that aggravate you getting dizzy and passing out, and definitely stay away from giant drops that could kill you. I'm not kidding here when I say this. Like, I very well could have died from this. Like, my life was essentially saved by a bush. Because if I kept rolling down that hill, it just got steeper and steeper. And there were so many drops and, like, rocks and stuff that I could have hit my head on. Like, it could have gone so much worse. And I can't believe to this day how lucky I got. Like, this has to be one of the most unlucky and lucky situations I've ever dealt with. You know what's crazy about this too? You know what's insane? Like, a year later, my blood pressure, like, stabilized. It, like, got normal out of nowhere. Like, a year later, it just was normal. No idea why, but it's like, yo, really? Like, you couldn't have just stayed normal the whole time? Anyway, guys, that's the end of the story time. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video. Definitely a crazy one. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace. Everyone around here always asks me why I'm faking.